Welcome to part 2 of our series on the Sengoku period. Today we're going to answer the question, what happened after the Onin War and before the rise of Oda Nobunaga? We'll be covering all of the smaller conflicts that were happening outside of the imperial capital in Kyoto, as the bulk of the fighting during this period was happening in isolation of one another. Now, many of you most likely know the three unifiers, Oda Nobunaga, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, and Tokugawa Ieyasu. But do you know any of the names of the other major clans, or the men who led them? Well, you're in luck, because that's what we're going to discuss today. Unfortunately, these clans don't get spoken about much because, well, they're the losers of history. But they were winners before they were losers, and therefore their stories deserve to be told as well. And since their names are going to be coming up throughout the next couple of videos, I've decided to introduce them to you. I'm hoping this sets up the stage for what's happening around Japan prior to and during the time of the three unifiers, and I hope it gives you a better idea of why the country needed to be unified in the first place. So Japan is built up of 8 major regions. From top to bottom, we have Hokkaido, Tohoku, Kanto, Chibu, Kansai, Chugoku, Shikoku, and Kyushu. As a note, Hokkaido and Okinawa are not settled until the late 19th century, so we're not going to be talking about those today. We are also not going to be talking about the regions of Chubu and Kansai, and that's because Chubu is where the three unifiers come from, and therefore we will be talking about that in the next video. And the Kansai region is where you will find the city of Kyoto, which we've already discussed in the Onin War, and we'll be discussing in the next couple of videos as well. The Tohoku region. The strongest family in the Tohoku region is the Date clan. During the Sengoku period, the Date clan consolidates power in the region by marrying between the local clans. In 1584, a Date retainer named Oichi Sadatsuna defects to the Ashina clan, and in retaliation, the head of the Date clan, Date Masamune, declares war on the Ashina. In 1585, things get a little crazy, and one of the allies of the Date clan, Nihonmatsu Yoshisugu, basically says that they're going to surrender, and Masamune says he'll accept, but only if they give up their territory. So in response, Yoshisugu kidnaps Masamune's father, Teramune, and in the end, both Teramune and Yoshisugu end up dead. Masamune retaliates, leading to a series of battles, eventually culminating in the complete takeover of the Ashina clan by 1589. There's also a clan up north, known as the Nambu. The Nambu is sort of divided into several smaller branches with no real central authority, and mostly they just sort of fight amongst themselves. In 1572, the Ora clan, who's a less powerful clan that works under the Nambu, revolts, laying claim to the most northern part of the region, and they start taking Nambu castles. In the midst of this, in 1582, the Nambu clan completely breaks apart after the death of the head of their clan, Nambu Harumasa. The Ora clan becomes the Tsurugu clan, and they make friends with Hideyoshi, who lets them keep the area in exchange for their support. The rest of the Nambu also support Hideyoshi upon his rise in 1590. So by this time, the most powerful clan in the region not supporting Hideyoshi is still the Date clan. Although originally Date Teramune had been a supporter of Hideyoshi, when he dies in 1584, his son Date Masamune, who's now the leader of the clan, does not trust Hideyoshi as much as his father and initially refuses to support him. Hideyoshi is furious. Masamune visits Hideyoshi in his best clothing, expecting to be executed, but Hideyoshi chooses instead to spare his life, but in return he moves Masamune from his ancestral home of Date and moves him to the city of Sendai, which he actually makes pretty awesome, so it kind of works out. Shikoku. In Shikoku, the most powerful clan is the Chosokabe clan. In 1583, the Chosokabe clan consolidates power in the region by beating out all of the other rival clans. This includes Motoyama, the Aki, the Ichio, the Kono, the Awa, and the Sanuki clans. However, this is very short-lived because in 1585, Hideyoshi defeats him. Chugoku. In the Chugoku region, the most powerful clan is most definitely the Mori, led by Mori Motonari. The biggest rival to the Mori clan is the Amago clan, who they defeat in 1566. They also get into a series of conflicts with the Otomo clan in Kyushu, but they don't really spread into that region. Also noteworthy is they ally with the Iko Iki, and this is a group we're going to talk about a little more later on when we talk about Oda Nobunaga. They're basically Oda Nobunaga's sworn enemies. They're a bunch of badass warrior monks that are Buddhist and also believe in fighting. After a naval battle in 1579, where the Mori fleet is absolutely destroyed, Oda Nobunaga decides to make peace with them, and they form an alliance. The Mori clan would eventually make it to the Battle of Sekigahara, which is at the end of the Sengoku period, where they would lose, but they do become a family of nobility during the Meiji period. Kyushu. In Kyushu, the most powerful clan is the Shimazu clan, but there's also several other powerful clans, including the Otomo clan and the Ryuzoji. The Shimazu clan of Satsuma consolidates power when they overtake these other clans, becoming the most powerful clan on the island when Hideyoshi arrives in 1587. After a series of battles, the Shimazu clan surrenders at the siege of Kagoshima. Now, the final region that we're going to talk about is the Kanto region, which is where today you can find the city of Tokyo. But at the time, Tokyo was basically just a castle in a fishing village surrounded by rice fields. So it's not the major capital that it would become later on. But it's also the seat of one of the most interesting places during the sort of pre-Nobunaga, and even during Nobunaga and Hideyoshi's time. It's the last place that Hideyoshi has to go to consolidate the rest of Japan. So the major family in the Kanto region is the Hojo family. And the Hojo family has very interesting beginnings. At the end of the Onin War, Hojo Soin of the Hojo family is actually a man named Issei Shinkudo, a low-ranking samurai. His sister marries a much higher-ranking samurai by the name of Imagawa Yoshitada. When Yoshitada is killed, Issei supports his nephew, Yoshitada's son, Imagawa Uchichika, and is awarded a castle. His son eventually changes the family name to the more illustrious Hojo, named after a family that used to be very important in the Kamakura area. The Hojo family becomes the enemy of another strong family, the Uesugi family, when they march down to Edo and take Edo Castle. This starts a war in the Kanto region that would last 17 years, with power shifting back and forth between them. Eventually, the Hojo family would gain control of the great cities of Edo, Odawara, and Kamakura. They also form an alliance with the Takeda family against the Uesugi. Now, what's interesting is that the Takeda and the Uesugi family have a very strong rivalry, especially during this period when we have Uesugi Kenshin and Takeda Shingen, who are a rivalry that makes it into the legends. Eventually, Takeda Shingen and Uesugi Kenshin pass away from illness, and both clans come into conflict with Oda Nobunaga. The Takeda family is destroyed, and the Uesugi family would survive, but would go on to lose the Battle of Sekigahara. So by the time Hideyoshi rises to power, the Hojo family is the most powerful family in the region. But they are then defeated at the Siege of Odawara, solidifying Hideyoshi's power. So join us in the next 2 weeks when we will talk about the rise of Oda Nobunaga, and continue our journey of understanding the Sengoku period. Please like, subscribe, and comment. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you.